Today's video is sponsored by Factor. Alright, so this morning I got the rest of that brush burn up out there by the mini cabin. Brought the excavator back over, and I just brought my truck down to the wood yard and saw something. I'm not sure if I ever saw this before or not. I've heard that they do this, but I've never witnessed it that I know of. I got out of my truck right there, and I thought I saw the biggest squirrel I ever saw in my life, but it was a groundhog, and he was up on this limb. The limb was like bouncing, and he was going over that way, and he went down that tree. This is a mulberry tree, but that groundhog climbed up in there to eat those mulberries. You would think they'd call him a tree hog instead of a groundhog. Never seen that before. right, I just finished up a pretty nice cherry log. It actually looked pretty gnarly, but I got a lot of nice big wide lumber out of it. Also sawed 2 big pieces of 8-quarter out of that log. You know, you can't judge a book by the cover, you know? I did a video the other day talking about cherry. Still one of my favorite woods, even though it kind of has fallen out of favor. It'll come back though, it will. Everything runs in cycles, you know? But I am adding to my inventory here quite nicely. Down here at the bottom is quarter and rift sawn red oak, quarter and rift sawn white oak, cherry, plain sawn red oak, walnut, red pine. Up on top of that is some eastern red cedar live edge slabs. And loads of bundle firewood. I think we're up to 15 or 16 baskets of that. Earlier, I mentioned that today's video was sponsored by Factor. Factor takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success. You can skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan, plus veggie, and more. Factor meals eliminate the hassle of prepping, cooking, or cleanup. Simply heat and savor the good stuff. Factor also offers gourmet meals as part of your weekly options, which means you can get a little gourmet with your meal plan whenever you're craving something special. As you know, we stay busy all the time and our schedule is always changing. That's where Factor comes into play for us, because we always know we're going to have something quick and easy to prepare that's absolutely delicious. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50OWTM to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's code 50OWTM at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That surprised me. I think we can do it. That was just a little test right there. You know, we need to move the shipping container onto this concrete pad. And I don't want to just slide it onto the pad and scratch it all up. I would like to lift and carry it and set it down. And the weak link was the excavator, so I thought. I know the skid loader will pick up the other end. I could put Levi on that tomorrow, me on the excavator, and I think we can do it. Just pick it up nice and easy. He'll come forward as I'm tramming forward, and I'm off to the side. You know what I mean? If I was straight in front of it, it would be no problem, but I need to pick it up over the side and walk ahead. It's gonna be tight, but I think it'll work. I do. That container weighs, it says right on it, 6,635 pounds. Yeah, the skid loader on that end, no problem at all. Excavator over here, I think it should work. We'll know tomorrow for sure. I'll tell you what, I am shocked. The excavator was definitely the weak link there, but we got it into place. I had my phone in my pocket, Levi had his, and we just kind of were able to talk back and forth, but it worked out perfectly. No trouble at all. But that was maxed out for the excavator. I think I said that weighs 6,600 pounds. And you're up high off the side like that, but that is perfect. One thing that I'm gonna do over here on this side, the pad's up out of the ground quite a bit. I'm gonna get some 2B limestone and just fill that in right there, because the way I see it, water runs from the building, this parking area, kind of this direction. You know, it'll filter through the stone. But instead of filling that in with dirt, I don't want to seal it up. I think 2B limestone, that way if any water would get under the slab, it'll bleed out of there. At least that's my thinking. Just got a nice jag of stone. When I get back to the house, we'll dump this down at the wood yard, bucket it up to the kiln with the big skid loader, and then put it in place with the mini skid. It's kind of hard to get the dump trailer on that side of the building. Not impossible, just a little difficult. And plus, I don't need all this stone there, I don't think. I got a little more than what I asked for. That happens sometimes. right, I'm getting there, but I got something more important I gotta do. Lunch date with Melissa. We try to go out to lunch or out to breakfast at least once a week. Normally, it's about once every 2 weeks. But it's nice just to be able to sit down. Like right now, Levi took Hunter out for a little bit, and but it's nice just to be able to sit down, talk about things, make plans. It's usually pretty chaotic around here. It's nice just to get away for 45 minutes or so and go over a bunch of stuff. They're calling for a few thunderstorms this afternoon. Very seldom do I wish for rain, but we could use a little rain. It'd be nice to cool down for just a bit. I think it's about 95 today. Another hot one. Not a fan. All right, almost back to the house here. Had a great lunch with Melissa. Discussed many different things. Got a little work to do now before it rains. We just had a downpour for about a half hour straight. Now it is super humid. I was thinking about digging this ditch and going to get some conduit. I need to run a line from over there. Right there's the panel, you know, inside the building right there. So I need to run some conduit. It needs a 60 amp breaker. Went over everything with the electrician, but there's more storms coming and he's not going to be here for a few days, so I think I'll wait on that. But we're getting real close to cutting a hole in the side of this thing and getting her hooked up. Right now I'm just going to dress up around it with the tractor and the land plane, and I think that'll be good for now. Alright, that's not too shabby. I'm not going to get too carried away because like I said, I got to do some digging in here and stuff, but worked out much better than I thought. I really didn't think that excavator would pick that up. There were times where it was just touching, but we were able to kind of just keep it up off the ground, get it in place. Everything worked out. But anyway, it's going to be kind of a short video today. More rain coming here in a little bit. I think I'm going to go down to the sawmill, maybe saw some cherry if it doesn't get too bad out. But anyway, I appreciate y'all being here, I really do. If you are a subscriber to our channel, double check, make sure you're still subscribed. And if you're not and you enjoy this type of content, please consider subscribing. We'll catch you on the next one.